Thinking Aloud. Conversations on the leading edge of knowledge and discovery with psychologist Jeffrey Mishlove.
So what you're saying here is that if precognition exists, and we believe that there's good data,
yes,
empirical data confirmed by numerous laboratories,
and even some in ours,
around the world over many, many decades.
Yes,
I would guess at this point maybe 100 good published studies.
Yep.
That it's possible that this effect is contaminating the findings in conventional biological medical research.
Or any research that used statistical inference to come to the outcome. Now, that sounds scary. If it does bias, it's really small. I mean, you put penicillin in a petri dish full of bacteria, it kills them. That's not an issue here. But a lot of times there are some weak effects. I mean, the effects of some drugs are very tiny.
Yeah.
And at least the door is open slightly. Doesn't mean it actually happens, but you have to at least pay attention
Well,
to
our
it.
friend, the statistician Jessica Utz, has pointed out that the evidence statistically for the well-known medical biological phenomenon that aspirin helps prevent heart attacks is statistically weaker than the evidence for extrasensory perception.
Absolutely true. And the other part of that, the best paper I know for the evidence of precognition is Chuck Honerton and Ferrari's analysis of all the precognition card guessing thing, where the effect size, how big the effect was, is the same as the aspirin thing. And people believe the aspirin thing and reject the ESP thing, although they're the same magnitude of the effect.
So we're talking about an effect that could have real-world consequences.
But the key point here for this discussion, it's based on precognition.
Yes.
And so when we looked at precognition as being such a robust phenomenon, and you can interpret it in all statistical circumstances for clairvoyance, telepathy, even healing, all the data that we have in parapsychology, it's almost all statistically based. Not macro PK. If you wind up a spoon, I'm sorry, that's not a statistic. Or you float to the ceiling, that's not, well, maybe you do it too often, I catch you every once in a while.
So, if we're to assume that your hypothesis is correct...
It is, of course. We never make mistakes.
It's certainly a reasonable hypothesis.
Of course
and
it is.
If it is correct, it means that we only need to look at one mechanism.
Yes, isn't that wonderful if it's true?
That we don't have to think about separate mechanisms for clairvoyance, telepathy, retrocognition, precognition. It could conceivably be all a matter of precognition.
Yes. And I hope that's true. You know, it's certainly a hypothesis that deserves far more testing that has been applied so far. And if it's true, it's exceptionally valuable for the reason you just pointed out.
Now, there are other viewpoints that just...
And they're all wrong, of course.
So, some people might say, no, it's psychokinesis. That's the model for all.
Okay, well, I'm willing to listen. There's a well-known neuroscientist named David Eagleman. He invented a marvelous term for this. He calls himself a possibillion, which everything's possible, but not everything's probable.
Right.
So I'm open to that, but you have to show me the data. I'm a data-driven guy, and so far, the precognition model, which we can compare to data, fits the model better than a PK model would.
But how do you deal with the paradoxes that precognition implies?
Tell me one.
Well, if precognition is true, then it would seem to me that I might not have any free will.
Beautiful. Somebody paid me to look at free will versus determinism. What a great thing. One of the issues there, I'll tell you two quick stories if we have the time. One is we were doing an experiment, an experiment basically, using associational remote viewing on a 6-horse horse race.
Okay.
And we had a great remote viewer, and we said, okay, please describe now the place we're going to take you to tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon. And we got a great match. We went and bet on it was a quarter horse race. The whole thing was over in 10 seconds, and we won. We had $300 in our pocket. The next day we went back to this guy and said, okay, we're ready to go take you to the site. And he said, unfortunately, I'm not going with you. Come on, I'm watching TV. So at 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that gets really interesting. Would the money vanish out of our pocket? Because he did not describe where he was going to be at 2 o'clock the next morning.
Okay.
So how did, wow, that is a free will versus determinism thing.
Yeah.
What that told us about is precognition allows you to have access to probable futures, not ones that actually occur. The most probable future we would have taken to the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever the target was. The actualized future was him sitting on the couch watching football.